Hey, what's going on, guys? JayzTwoCents here, and we're going to talk today about the concept of parts being considered obsolete, old news, waste of money, worthless, just because something new is on the horizon. We're going to talk about buying new versus buying used, and kind of building upon that video that I did that was extremely controversial last week, taking a lot of your guys' feedback into consideration on how to sort of best navigate these very interesting waters that, quite honestly, we've never really been in before. And by we, I mean all of us, because the world dynamic in terms of pricing and availability right now has never been like this. So it's interesting and scary. So let's talk about it. The new XG321UG Mini LED 32-inch 4K panel from ViewSonic blurs the lines between gaming and professional monitors. Gamers will enjoy super smooth gameplay due to its 144Hz refresh rate and integrated NVIDIA G-Sync Ultimate and Reflex technology, VESA Display HDR 1400, and super black levels due to the 1152 Mini LED backlighting zones. While industry professionals can edit content with peace of mind due to 10-bit processing, 98% DCI P3 color gamut, and 99% Adobe RGB. To see why the XG321UG is the perfect dual-purpose monitor, follow the link in the description below. All right, so here's the thing that makes things kind of interesting right now is I want to kind of address a few common regurgitated comments that are out there. One that I think really stands out is a lot of people saying buying anything new right now at MSRP is completely stupid because it's a 2-year-old card and new things are on the horizon. I feel like, honestly, a lot of people saying that are repeating what folks that maybe haven't been around for a lot of previous launches are saying. It makes sense, like, would you buy a 2-year-old car for the same price it was new? Well, realistically, a lot of people have been paying more for a 2-year-old car because of the way pricing and inflation has been. But let's just use it as something in terms of history, kind of the way launches have gone, to try and dissect that comment and whether or not it makes sense. First of all, it is still the latest thing. It is still the newest available product. Right now, a lot of these cards, 20 or 3070 and up, have dropped below MSRP. So there's already a discount versus the price that it launched at. And I think what makes this comment kind of frustrating is the fact that when pricing of 30 series was announced, and the first round buyers, I say first round buyers, before the first inventory ran out, those who got 3080s and 3070s and all that, remember 3080 Ti didn't exist yet, and 3090s at MSRP, that was like, oh my God, that's amazing. The pricing on this, we had one video where we talked about 3080 in our launches, got 1 million views by lunchtime. In 3 hours, it got 1 million views because there was so much hype and so much excitement over the cost of 30 series when it first launched versus the terrible value 20 series presented. Remember, 2080s and 2080 Ti's were $1,200 at MSRP. There was a $700 MSRP on 3080. Now you fast forward 2 years, are finally available, and everyone's saying $700 for 3080, which is still the newest card at this time, being a terrible value. That kind of tells me people weren't around for the previous launches, because guess what? The day before 3080 launched, people had still purchased $1,200 2080 Ti's. That's a terrible purchase. But the reason why I'm even mentioning this is the fact that just because we know 40 series is coming, which, by the way, one of the reasons why I put out that video saying now would be the time to buy, even though, yes, we know that there are millions of orders for 40 series from TSMC that were refused to be canceled because of the fact that 30 series now had a huge influx and dump of cards with the crash of cryptocurrency mining. TSMC not canceling those orders, that doesn't mean NVIDIA is still gonna launch them right now. Take this with the most giant grain of salt, but I have been told by numerous sources behind the scenes who I cannot name because they will literally lose their jobs, that we are still up to a year away from a 40 series launch. Now, I hope that's not true. I truly hope that's not true, because the rumor also states that we will see 4080-ish, 4070, 4090 cards launch first, and then the lower series after, which is, I mean, you don't have to be a genius to figure that out. That's the way every launch has ever gone with NVIDIA. They start at the top and work their way down, so you're not big brain for thinking that. Those mid-range cards won't make it to market until summer, spring of 2023. That's a year from now. But I'm being told that we may not even see the initial launch for a year from now. Now, knowing that that could be a year from now, does that make 30 series more incentivizing right now? Or do you look at that and go, 30 series could potentially be 3 years old by the time 40 series comes out, and you expect the price to drop even more? Well, the price isn't gonna necessarily drop any more than it is now. And people are thinking that they're going to drop because of the influx of used cards on the market. My problem with used cards on the market right now is how do you know what's a mined card and what is just a gamer offloading a card? More than likely, anybody selling 30 series cards right now were either scalpers or miners, because there's no particular reason to sell if we're still looking at months and months away for 40 series. Now let's talk about those of you that are in the market for a new card right now. Just because a 40 series card is on the horizon does not mean a 30 series or even a 20 series card has no value. There's a lot of folks saying, and it's very ignorant and I hate seeing this, 30 series cards are worthless now. I have to assume these people are new to this. Because one, NVIDIA is not gonna continue to drop the price of cards lower and lower and lower and lower like people think. They're just going to hang on to 40 series launch longer and longer and longer until inventory is depleted at its current pricing. There's a reason why they didn't drop the price on 3060. There's a reason why they didn't drop a price on 3060 Ti or 3050s. In fact, those are still terrible deals right now because of the fact that they are $400+ for a 3060 and 3060 Ti. If we take a look at eBay right now, talking to those that are interested in buying used, it's actually it paints quite an interesting story. So if I look up right now a 3070 on eBay, 3070 Founders Edition card, brand new, $639. That is, I mean, it's a slight premium still because it was $599 MSRP when it launched. We got a PNY NVIDIA RTX 3070 triple fan card for $500 or best offer. That's a pretty good deal. Let's see, NVIDIA Founder or GeForce RTX 3070. Actually, I take that back. I think I said 500 was the MSRP for 3070. I think 499 is actually what it was. So that 639 Founders is actually a terrible deal. 549 for Founders, 399 for a Founders for 3070. Still not a bad deal. You wanna know why? If I look up 3060 for $420, a 3060 for $380, a 3060 for $408. These are not TIs, by the way. This one's a TI, MSI 3060 Ti for $351, but that's bids. There's not a buy it now. $429 buy it now for a 3060 Ventus non-TI. Do you see why I say the 3060s are a terrible deal? Because there was no across-the-board price drop on 3060 Ti or 3060, those prices are still pretty high, but 3070 and up getting a kind of a slash. You know, but here's the thing, if you were interested in buying a 3070, you know, at $600, 3080 right now, $699 for a 3080 for the Win 3 Ultra, buy it now. That's so far below MSRP of when it first launched, because remember, the 3080 for the Win 3 Ultra when it first launched was like an $879 to $900 card. Does it not have value now? Or is the discounted value of like 20% here make sense? Look, because something new's on the horizon, your 3080 now, or your 3070, or the potential 6800 XT or 6900 XTs, because I did talk about AMD also in that video, they don't suddenly get less FPS. You don't suddenly get less settings because something new came out. It's not like your performance dropped. And I know that people are gonna be like, planned obsolescence, drivers are gonna make older cards perform less. That has been debunked? That has been debunked so many times throughout history by so many content creators. Ourselves, Linus did a great piece when 20 series came out, testing like dozens of drivers and saw nothing but improvement on older cards over time. So if you're one of those people that thinks NVIDIA does planned obsolescence, or even AMD does planned obsolescence by making drivers gimp older cards, you probably think you're floating around on a flat disk through space too, right? But here's another buy it now for an Asus TUF 3080 10 gig for $739. Do I feel like these cards still have a performance value at that price? Absolutely I do. Now, what I firmly believe is gonna happen here is that as time goes on, this inventory is gonna dwindle, and NVIDIA is gonna strategically time the launch of 40 series to when these cards are becoming very hard to get. There's a lot of people right now buying cards at a very high rate. I think most people understood what I was saying in that video, and a lot of people have tweeted me saying, look at this crazy deal I got at Micro Center. Eventually they're gonna run out, and NVIDIA is gonna do what NVIDIA does. They are going to maximize the profit. They are a traded company. They have shareholders and investors that they have to appease. Remember, NVIDIA has a lot less concern about making you happy versus making that group of people happy. And they're gonna do whatever it takes to maximize the profit and the cost of 40 series. And I can tell you right now, if they are eating the cost now and they're hanging on to it because TSMC will not cancel the order, they are going to go for maximum possible MSRP and pricing on 40 series. And you can bet scalpers are gonna try again. The difference is we just have to hope that cryptocurrency has either moved, especially Ethereum has moved finally to POC or proof of stake, or POS, proof of stake. We gotta hope that happens first, because if not, and they're still mining on cards and that cryptocurrency has rebound, and let's face it, cryptocurrency has taken a huge hit, it will more than likely rebound. It has done this multiple times, it's very cyclic. We are going to see cards be bought up again, potentially scalped, and you've already seen these retailers, these manufacturers, and these AIBs cannot effectively combat scalping and bots. They just can't. That's already been proven so many times. So my point is, just because something new is coming, does that mean that the current hardware is obsolete? Absolutely not. CPU-wise, we know AM5 is coming. Does that mean that your Ryzen 5000 series CPU is garbage now? No. Only if you're the kind of person that goes, I have to have the newest thing. Then that's a personal problem. That's not a realistic problem. That does not affect the reality around you. It affects your reality, which is often skewed by your own perceived necessities and maybe your own OCDs and your own addictions. So if you're the kind of person that's addicted to hardware and tech and you're like, I have to have the latest thing, absolutely. I cannot look at my system and know you are not the newest thing out there, you are trash. And you know what's sad about that? There's a lot of people that feel that way. I used to be that way, honestly, surrounded by this stuff. But I'll tell you what, I've been running 10 series at home now since it came out. Skipped 11th gen altogether, and I built the 12th gen system that I still haven't taken home yet because I don't feel that need anymore to have the latest and greatest. Yeah, there's a 3090 sitting in my personal build, knowing 40 series is coming out eventually. Does that mean I'm gonna just say this system sucks? No, I'll cross that bridge when I get to it later. But I wish more people would feel that way and feel comfortable with taking advantage of some deals that are available now, knowing that the performance level you're gonna get is exactly as it is right now. It's not suddenly gonna drop. Remember, the performance cap is gonna increase. The performance you have now is not going to drop. And people need to remember that. I think they also need to remember that 40 series pricing is rumored to be ridiculous. I don't know if it's because they switched from Samsung back to TSMC. I don't know if it has something to do with that 5 nanometer process being super expensive to manufacture. I don't know, remember 30 series is 8 nanometer, it's 8nm Samsung, so they're moving back to TSMC. I don't know what the situation is there to potentially make those costs higher. Are they running a new generation RT core? Remember when RT first came out, it was extremely expensive to manufacture those RT cores. Now that they've kind of got that process ironed out, 2nd gen RT core, 3rd generation Tensor core, are we gonna see a new gen that brings the cost back up? And is the performance increase gonna increase at the same rate that cost is? Or is cost gonna exceed the performance increase? More than likely, cost will exceed the performance increase with 40 series. And my true goal here is not to like pimp AMD, or pimp NVIDIA, or pimp Intel. Honestly, my goal here is to pimp you guys getting amazing setups. And my true belief here is that cost is not gonna continue to decline. Cost is gonna stay where it's at right around now and just gonna last longer. And then here's the thing, the longer you wait, you know you're closer to 40 series, so now you're stuck in that conundrum of do I buy now knowing I waited 6 more months and nothing happened? And then you buy 30 series and you feel really disappointed that 40 series came out, but if 40 series is twice as much as you would have paid for your current 30 series, that's why I'm saying it's a really weird place. A lot of folks honestly believe that 30 series cards are gonna continue to drop and drop and drop and drop and drop. That has never happened in the history of NVIDIA. NVIDIA keeps the pricing as high as they possibly can. The price reduction below MSRP that we have seen happen over the last 2 weeks is as low as it's anticipated to go. Again, I sound like some news organization saying, under condition of anonymity. I know, don't believe what I'm saying, that's fine. I'm just telling you. These are honest efforts here to save you a situation where you don't get anything. So the best advice here, the stuff that is currently available, 5000 series AMD, 12th gen Intel, not a great deal, honestly, in my opinion. 13th gen is right around the corner, we know that. That's probably coming this fall, as far as we know. New AMD cards right now, don't know much about that other than the RDNA 3 is supposed to be an absolute beast. But again, I'm seeing rumors that say the RX 70 or 7900 or whatever they're calling it, 7000 series is supposed to be double the performance of, 6900X. Those rumors never pan out. They're never double the performance. What you tend to end up seeing is maybe something double performance per watt kind of a thing, but you're not gonna see actual double the performance. People constantly misconstrue these things. But what I can tell you is in the history of launches, the prices do not drop to a loss. They're already at a loss where they are. They're not gonna continue to do that. They're going to extend the time before they launch to make sure those have naturally made their way out. I see a lot of folks saying, yeah, but the used market is gonna be so flooded with people selling off their mining cards that they can't possibly keep the prices high because people have used options. Well, now we're talking into an ethical/moral dilemma. I don't feel like you should be rewarding the miners that are now dumping their mining cards because of the fact that they're now seeing a loss. I mean, there's plenty of people out there that be like, I don't really care. I don't care, I want a card. And that's fine, that's on you. I'm not putting you down, or I'm not saying you should agree with me on that, but I'm telling you right now, so many of you have been so angry and so mad at the mining community for eating up these cards and buying scalped cards and taking direct sales from the AIBs and the manufacturers themselves. 747 cargo plane truckloads of NVIDIA cards making their way to mining farms in China and Asia. That made you guys mad. You guys were livid. You were so livid, but are you willing now to drop those scruples and buy their cards and give them even more money because now the market's taking a hit and they want to recoup some cost out of your pocket directly? I'm not okay with that personally. So that's up to you to decide. But I feel like that's literally like tongue-in-cheek or even talking out of both sides of your mouth if you're mad at miners, but then you'll physically give them money for their cards that they've already caused some memory degradation to potentially on. You don't know how they were mined. Were they undervolted? What were the temperatures they were run at? How many hours do they have on those chips? These cards are pretty much past their warranty period that you can expect. So again, this is up to you. But I know this video was kind of all over the place. It's just some thoughts that have been kind of going around in my head for the last week that I felt I absolutely had to address. People were saying, Jay, you're totally sponsored by NVIDIA in that video. We have never ever received a single dime from NVIDIA. NVIDIA is the one brand that has never given us money for anything at all. Even AMD has paid for videos on this channel. Even AMD has paid for projects for us to hey, use AMD products. We have no problem with AMD products, so I'm willing to take their money and show you guys. I mean, that's how these channels exist and work. But NVIDIA is the one brand that we have been in the most trouble with in the past. They are not happy with us most of the time. And then to be accused of being an NVIDIA shill is so funny to me, knowing that I'm literally doing things that are designed for you guys to, in my opinion, get the best possible outcome for your money and your situations, only be called an NVIDIA shill about it. And ironically, the secret code in today's video is JayzShill. JayzShill. I mean, it makes perfect sense, right? That's what I'm doing right now, apparently. But you know what the best part about this is? I'm just an opinion. You get counter pieces that get made, you get things to think about and consider, and I'm perfectly fine with that. I'm never mad at another content creator for having a valid, legitimate counter opinion. I warrant it? Yes, I warrant it a lot, but I welcome it, I accept it, and I even share it half the time and say, hey, don't agree with me? Maybe you'll agree with this guy. I mean, that's it. Everything we do around here is always, in my opinion, in your best interest. A lot of times you don't agree, and holy stuff, you guys get mad about it. But at the end of the day, it's just graphics cards. It's just games, it's just computers. It's not the most important thing in the world. It's not. I mean, we love what we do around here, but there are more important things to actually get mad and waste your energy on than sending it my way. Anyway, thumbs down this video. I'm sure you're going to anyway, but still potentially a year away for 40 series. 30 series, current Intel, current AMD is no less performance than you would have gotten at any particular time. Even when the new stuff comes out, it's not gonna, oh no, 40 series came out, I lost 50 FPS. No, it's not gonna happen. It's a dumb way to think. Let's just get rid of that ideology altogether. Because you know who wins in that ideology? NVIDIA, AMD, Intel, the big brands, the brands that you guys hate. Some of you guys hate this whole corporate stuff, but you're just throwing the money at them. So it's like, if you have a problem with big corporations and stuff like that, which I've seen a lot of, then don't buy anything. You shouldn't even be watching this video. NVIDIA or YouTube and Google is a monster. You shouldn't be watching this video either if you guys have a problem. You shouldn't be on your phone or your computer or driving your car. You shouldn't be doing anything but sitting in the corner sucking your thumb because everything exists around you It's just big bad corporate capital life. That got really off topic.